Welcome back. It's time for another book talk video. I missed my Tuesday and Wednesday videos this week. There's a good chance I'm not going to get this uploaded for Friday and miss my Friday video. But I was thinking about calling it Faulkner Friday and doing a Faulkner tag. Instead, it may be Sanctuary Saturday with that Faulkner tag. And why don't I just go ahead and make it a tag challenge? Let's see how many tags I can get through since I'm actually recording a video now for the week. By the way, I greatly appreciate the community, BookTube, AuthorTube, HorrorTube, and I guess maybe I should also say PoetryTube now, because the one video I took the time to really work on during the school week was Poetry Thursday. But you guys are awesome. I greatly appreciate all the comments, the feedback, clicking the like, subscribing to the channel. It's wonderful. And also, nobody complained. Nobody sent me hateful messages or emails or anything about me missing videos. So thank you for that. Alright, we're starting up with the Faulkner in August 2021 tag. I guess hashtag Faulkner in August 2021 tag. I was tagged by the original creator, which was Alan from Big Hard Books and Classics. His prompts have numbers that are out of order, which I think is hilarious. So number 3 is up first. Yaknapatawafa County, which is the fictional county in Faulkner's works. Question is, what county do you live in and what does its name mean? I live in Texas, and in Texas, the counties are named after historical people, which is pretty neat. Though I was born in Louisiana, where instead of counties, they have parishes. And I also think that's pretty cool. Louisiana is probably the only state that calls their counties parishes. But moving on. Number 1, Benji in The Sound and the Fury is the ultimate unreliable narrator. Name another or your favorite unreliable narrator. For this one, I've got to rely on one of my old favorite books, Fight Club from 1995, the inspiration for the 1999 film. I'm not going to tell you the spoilers of why he's such an unreliable narrator. If you don't know Fight Club, just check it out. Number 4, As I Lay Dying, tell us about a book that draws upon death or bereavement. One of my all-time favorite plays is A Raisin in the Sun. That family needs the money from the father dying. They need that insurance check. A lot of the plot and character development is about what they're going to do with that money and what becomes of it. But all because somebody died. So sad. Death of a Salesman is another work. Of course, it's got death in the title that deals with someone with an insurance check. Number 2, The Sound and the Fury's Jason 4 is the ultimate unlikable character. Name another or your favorite villain. It's not where I thought the prompt was going. I want to say Loki, but I feel like I can't. They've reformed Loki in a sense. Also, the Loki series, as much as I was happy that they made a Loki series, did a lot that upset me with making him seem weak and less powerful, easy to manipulate, which was not the Loki of old. So I guess instead, I'll go with Cardinal Richelieu from the Three Musketeers, a political, strategizing opponent, but not one that is entirely impossible to defeat in certain situations. Number 6, Light in August. Name a book that made you furious or describes the intensity of emotion. A book that made me furious. I think some of the strongest emotion that I was upset about was in Margaret Penard's Remnants trilogy when I got to the 3rd book. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I love the way that Margaret Penard put the series together. She made me really care about those characters, and then she made horrible things happen. So I got furious about some of the horrible things that happened to some of the characters throughout the series, especially book 3. Number 4A, Absalom was a son of David who rebelled against his father. Name a rebellion character story. Star Wars. I love the old Star Wars A New Hope. When I was growing up, I read all those Star Wars books that were coming out. I'm so angry that people have been brainwashed by Disney and they think that Disney now determines the Star Wars canon. In my head, the original canon will always be the canon, and the stuff that Disney makes, I call that the Disney canon. It's like being in a multiverse and having different realities. Number 5, what is your favorite Faulkner novel and why? I'm inclined to say Sanctuary because I just finished it, but I really don't want to because it's a messed up book. By the way, I'm hoping to put out a video for Sanctuary probably next Saturday where you'll get my detailed thoughts about it. I've been a part of the read-along this month for Faulkner in August. So I'm just going to say I don't actually have a favorite Faulkner novel. I'm more of a fan of the short stories. And number 7 is an extra credit question. I don't want to cheat. I've actually heard the answer to this over Bookish channel and it doesn't feel right to just say, oh yeah, I watched someone else's tag video of this. I've already heard the answer and I'm going to repeat it. So whoever's out there grading these things, first of all, I want you to know I've never received a report card, certainly never gotten a progress report. I have no idea how I'm doing grade-wise, but I'm not going to cheat for the extra credit. I'm going to stay ethical and moral on this one. By the way, if any of you know who it is out there that's giving us our points and grades, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear. But that's it for the Faulkner in August 2021 tag. All of the tags that I do today, however many I manage to get to, they're going to be open tags. So feel free to do the tag. Consider yourself tagged. Say that I tagged you in this open tag. Up next is the It's All Relative book tag. Again, I was tagged by Alan over at Big Hard Books and Classics. The original tag is by AJ Dunn Reads and Writes. Both of them have really fun YouTube channels. If you're not watching their channels, you know the links for everything will be down below. You should get on that. Prompt number 1 for this one is Mamma Mia. Recommend a book with a mother character that is pivotal to the story. Just want to say, first of all, I have actually seen Mamma Mia. Gone to see the production at some point when they put it on in Dallas, which they used to put on those shows all the time down there in Dallas at Fair Park. There are a lot of great mother characters in literature. For this, I want to call back to the original Star Wars canon, the novels that existed after Return of the Jedi. I think that Leia made for a really great mother for the children that existed in that multiverse reality. Not so much in episodes 7 through 9 in the new films that they made, where she just sent Han off to die for their evil son. Number 2, Papa Don't Preach, a book with a father character you like or despise. Could I just answer Star Wars for all of these prompts? Because the father that I both like and despise is Anakin Skywalker. When I was growing up, one of the TV channels called USA Network would actually play Return of the Jedi every year for Father's Day. They would build up to it, showing A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and then you'd get Return of the Jedi on Father's Day. And so you could plan every year to sit around with your dad and watch TV and watch Return of the Jedi and see the moment where, you know, spoilers, Luke tries to save his father's soul. Very touching. And it was subtle. You know, they didn't go out of their way to promote, hey everybody, it's Father's Day, watch Return of the Jedi. But I knew what they were thinking. I knew why they were doing that every year. Number 3, Brothers and Sisters, a book with an interesting sibling relationship. You know, really and truly, a lot of sibling pair-ups don't work out that well in literature. A lot of times in stories, at least as far as my memory's recalling, a lot of siblings end up hating each other or not being there for each other. Though sometimes I guess that's part of the point of the story, is for them to figure that out. But off the top of my head, I can't really think of a good one. Oh, I mean, I can, but it's spoilers to tell you it. So I can't, in case you haven't read the book. Because the twist in the book is that you don't know that they're actually brothers, half-brothers, and part of the reveal. So, sorry, I try to avoid real spoilers here. Moving on. Number 4, it's been 84 years. A book you like that is multi-generational or chronicles a character's whole life. This summer I read Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi, and it was a great book, but I was not prepared for what it was as a multi-generational story. And I would have enjoyed it more if someone would have told me that ahead of time. Because I was expecting to get more with the characters that we started with. When it goes from one generation to another, it just keeps going. And if my memory serves, it was 9 generations or so, and I kept expecting it to loop back to the previous characters and previous generations more than it did. And so my expectations caused me to be somewhat disappointed at the time that I was reading it. But upon reflection, it's great literature, and I really like it. I just wish I would have known how the story was going to be set up before I read it. Number 5, You Complete Me, a book with an interesting marriage as a central element of the story. There are so many stories about people falling in love and wanting to get married, so I'm going to use that. The play, The Importance of Being Earnest, in which there's that identity confusion about who is Ernest and which woman is Ernest engaged to for them to get married. And in the end, I'm trying to avoid spoilers, but let me just ask you a philosophical question. Is it okay for cousins to get married? First cousins? You see it a lot in literature. The story is set in the 1890s. But today, that is something that freaks people out when they read a novel or watch a play or something. Number 6, picture it. Sicily, a book with an interesting elder character, such as a grandparent or great-grandparent. Let's go back to Star Wars again. Why not? Good old Obi-Wan Kenobi looking like an old man. I've spent some serious time, probably too much time in my life, thinking about Star Wars. And I think George Lucas messed some stuff up because Obi-Wan is so old in A New Hope. But really, Luke is only, what, about 18 to 21 years old at that point? Which means it's been about 20 years since the end of what became Episode 3. At which point, Ewan McGregor playing Obi-Wan did not look like he was 20 years younger than what we see from Alec Guinness in A New Hope. I guess the desert life just really aged him a whole lot. He looked like he aged about 40 to 60 years between episode 3 and 4. Number 7, Friends with Benefits. Oh, a book with a found family or friends as family element. You know, AJ Dunn, I love this tag and the way you put it together, but I'm somewhat questioning the Friends with Benefits and the found family trope. I'm not sure what kind of books you've been reading, but when I think of found family, I think about the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson, and I don't think that Friends with Benefits stuff was going on with the found family characters. I really don't think the character that I pronounce his name is Kelsier, but other people say Kelsier or Kelsier. I really don't think he was sleeping around with the members of the crew, but I don't know. Maybe that was happening. Number 8, I Think We're Alone Now, a book with a character who was lost, left behind, or abandoned. Can also be a story with an orphaned or adopted character. I guess I'm tired because my brain keeps going back to works that I've already talked about, like Star Wars, or I don't know, maybe a work that I shouldn't mention because of spoilers, but not really great spoilers. He tells you that he was abandoned as a child, The Importance of Being Earnest. So there are so many fun orphan characters, though, in literature. There are really too many of them. I would like to see some more Disney movies with people who have stable family lives and parents who are just good, nurturing parents who don't, die or abandon their children or whatever. And number 9, the last question in this tag, Fur Baby. A book where a pet or animal is part of the family or plays an important role. I always answer the Drizzt Do'Urden series. It's over 30 books. The Dark Elf trilogy, the Icewind Dale trilogy, and on and on and on. Up next, we've got the Book Buffet 2021 book tag. This will be my 3rd tag for this video. This is from Amrita by the Book and the collective that she has put together working on it. I'll put all their stuff down in the links below. Number 1, Appetizer, a short story, novelette, or novella that you wish could be expanded into a full-length novel or get a novel-length sequel. This is such an awesome prompt because I love short stories. So I'm going to go with my favorite novella that I've read in the last year, which is the Bewilderness series by Ben Reeves, book number 1. Granted, he's saying the series will end up being 9 books. He actually put out a video, 21st Century Writer, this last week, in which he was saying he's also thinking about writing a kind of background origin story, side story for one of the other characters in the book. So maybe we will get more and more of that story fleshed out, which would be great. Question number 2, Salad Bar. Pick 3 ingredients, plot elements, writing style, tropes, etc. that would be in your ideal book salad. Well, there are 3 listed right there. Plot elements, writing style, and tropes. So not that I'm being lazy, but I'll take the 3 of those. I love a good minimalist style. I like a plot that doesn't have too much manipulation of time for the sake of trying to hide mysteries from me. And when it comes to tropes, I do love the found family trope, which was mentioned earlier. I also like things like the tropes where enemies become friends, or enemies can ultimately become lovers, and all those kind of relationship dynamics in a good action or fantasy story. Question 3, Dose of Station, a slim volume that packs a significant punch. I'll go ahead and say The Bewilderness Book Number 2 by Ben Reeves, a fun novella that surprised me. Some good twists in there. Question number 4, Pasta, a book that brings you comfort and leaves you fully satisfied and content when you're done with it. Oh, that reminds me. I've been eating a bit of Cajun chicken pasta lately. So good. So filling. I highly recommend it if you can make your own, or are there any restaurants near you that maybe could deliver to you, that sort of thing. Cajun chicken pasta is really good. But alright, a book that brings me comfort, probably one of the most comforting books I've read in my life, was I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. I got so much out of reading that book. And early in my teaching career, any time that I was really stressed and struggling, I would just turn back to that book and read passages from it, and it would help me calm down and think and come up with solutions to things. Question 5, Beef. A book that is hearty, whether it's long, fills you up with gooey warmth, or is just a slog to get through. I'm wondering if they wrote these questions just to force us to say things like gooey warmth. But alright. A big chunky book that I know a lot of people have given a lot of love to on BookTube in the last couple of years is The Count of Monte Cristo. Oh, it's beefy. There's a lot in there as a revenge story. I've not actually made a video about The Count of Monte Cristo. I guess I should get on that. Question 6, Bread. Something you and your friends fight over while waiting for your dinner is the bread basket. How do they know this? Talk about a book you fight with other people about. I'm not really someone who goes out there and picks fights with other people about literature. I mean, I try not to. So this question might be a pass for me. But just for fun, I could always just say Fight Club again. Question 7, Cheese Room. A book with a happy ever after ending. Man, what immediately popped in my head was The Princess Bride, which has a goofy, funny ending when you're expecting a happily ever after ending. The book ends slightly different from the film, and I do recommend, if you've watched the film and you're a big fan of the film, read the book. The Princess Bride is so much fun to read. It's got a bunch of hilarious, humorous moments added in that were not in the film. Question 8, Chocolate Fountain. Oh, chocolate fountains are so good. It's been so many years since I've been to a good chocolate fountain. Fondue, being able to dip your food in the chocolate. I love dipping strawberries, pineapples, apples, all kinds of stuff in chocolate. Marshmallows. These questions are making me hungry. When you read a new series or author, do you dip in and out, or do you read it all back to back? I could go on for a long time trying to answer this question, because this is something that has changed with me with BookTube. I used to be the kind of person who tried to focus on, alright, I just started a series, a trilogy or whatever, and I would try and get all the books and read right on through it. Read them back to back. But I noticed that the majority of people who make BookTube videos tend to not do that. They're like, I'll just read maybe one book from that series every month or every 2 months, and I'll also be reading other series and other things in the meantime. And at first I wondered, why? Why are so many of you out there doing that? But now I've developed that behavior as well. And I guess it's just because there are so many exciting, wonderful things to read, so it's hard to get to all of them. Number 9, Who's Invited? Tag some foodie friends. You are all invited. If you're not participating in the book buffet for 2021, there's still time this month. You've still got, 10, 11 days, something like that. Depending on when you watch this video, you might have less. Maybe you're watching this video far in the future and you're like, August 2021? That was so long ago. But I think it's great. I have on my shelf a couple of books to read this month. One of my friends was able to get me a copy of a third book dealing with food, but I don't know if I'm going to have time to get to it. It's called Gumbo. It's a collection of African-American literature. Maybe I can at least read a story or two out of it, but it's a thick book. Alright, I finished another tag. That was 3, right? I'll try to do more. Let's see if I can make it work. Up next is the most brutal Would You Rather Bookish book tag. I was tagged by Realm of Words and Pages. Realm of Words and Pages. It's a fun BookTube channel. I was also tagged by John at Hey Y'all Listen Up. Question 1. Would you rather have only your favorite book for the rest of your life, or be stuck with all the Goodreads 1-star rated books? I guess I should give a little disclaimer here that I hate Would You Rather games. They just make me feel so much pain having to pick between things. But I'll do it. I'll do the tag. I always appreciate being tagged in these things. So I will try my best to get through this. I would rather have lots of books, so I'm going to pick the second option. I will read 1-star rated books. I don't know if it means the average. I would assume the average, because pretty much every book gets lots of different ratings. Question 2. Would you rather be stuck in lifetime servitude under your most hated antagonist, or reliving through the scariest book you've ever read with your most favorite side character? I don't really understand how this is an option. Like, why would I want to live under the rule of my most hated antagonist? Of course, why would I want to have to live through a scary book? This one involves a lot of thought. I guess the fact that I could be with my favorite side character would help counteract having to live through the plot of a scary book, so I'll pick that one. But don't ask me what my favorites are for these. Thank goodness it didn't say I had to explain that. Number 3, would you rather marry the enemy of your most favorite character, or be with your most favorite character and be the one to kill them in the end? Oh my gosh, I don't want to have to kill anybody. Can I just choose to pass on this one? Number 4, would you rather have a dragon the size of a large dog, or a Pegasus you can't ride on as a pet? Oh my goodness. I mean, the way that the wings are designed on a Pegasus, I've always thought it was awkward for people to ride on a Pegasus, because you'd have to be really careful about how you put some sort of saddle or blanket or something on that horse in order for it to still be able to use its wings. So let's not mess with the Pegasus. I'd love to have a dragon the size of a dog. That sounds awesome. Number 5, would you rather be the hero or heroine in a story? Oh, that's not the whole question. And die in the end, or be the most hateful antagonist and live? Would I like to die in the end, or be hated and live through it? Well, this is just a joke, but I'm a teacher, so to me, I'm like, okay, it's possible some people are going to hate me, even though I'm trying really hard to build good relationships and have a successful classroom. It's okay to be hated if you still accomplish other things, I guess. So I guess I'd want to live and be hated if I have to be. These are not nice questions. Why are these not happy questions? Why doesn't someone make a would you rather where you have to pick between awesome, happy, wonderful options? And so the drawback is that you can't have both awesome, happy things. Maybe one of you could work on that. Number 7, assuming they both know you equally well and they love you the same, would you rather keep your best friend or your most favorite book crush? I don't have book crushes, so let me keep my best friend. Number 8, would you rather have all your favorite books but never be allowed to read them, or be able to read all the books from your most disliked genre? Well, I love to read, so I'm going to pick the option that allows me to read. I'll just have to get used to my most disliked genre. Number 9, would you rather go on a quest with 5 of your most favorite book characters where you lose them along the way, or rule over 5 of your most hated book characters? I guess I'd prefer not to lose these people. The term lose them could mean death. It could just mean that they get lost. I don't know. But let's just say that I rule over some hated book characters. You know, try and get them to become better people. Number 10, would you rather live in your favorite book series or write a book with your favorite author? Oh, this is a happy one. I think it'd be awesome to write a book with my favorite author. Let me figure out who that is. Alright, that was another tag. I've done 4. I'm going to push on through and try and do 5. Here we go. Reader Problems book tag. I was tagged by Mason in the Dark. The original maybe might have been Jesse at Bowties and Books, or maybe that's just who tagged Mason or where he saw it. I'm not 100% sure. But Mason's awesome. If you're not watching his videos, I highly recommend them. Prompt number 1. You have 20,000 books on your TBR. How in the world do you decide what to read next? Part of it for me is trying to finish series. Part of it sometimes comes down to those booktube spin kind of situations where it's randomized. And part of it is just me walking around looking at the shelves and the books and picking one up. Though lately, I think it's been great having the read-alongs, buddy reads, group reads, those kind of things to get me to read different books. Number 2, you're halfway through a book and you're just not loving it. Do you quit or are you committed? I'm committed, okay? There's been one book in the last few years that I decided to DNF. That's it. I really do my best to try and finish books, though ironically and perhaps hypocritically, I tell people all the time it's perfectly normal and understandable to DNF, and you shouldn't worry about it. But I do. Number 3, the end of the year is coming, and you are so close, but so far away on your Goodreads reading challenge. Do you try to catch up, and how? This has not been an issue this year and last year, but couple years ago, I really was struggling to meet my goal, and I was like, I'm just going to read some short things. I made sure I read some short things and got caught up to my goal. Because Goodreads will count a lot of things as a book, even if it's really a short story or play or novella. Number 4, the covers of a series you love do not match. How do you cope? I actually noticed when I went and got the Jim Butcher Codex Alera books 1, 2, and 3, that on the covers they put Jim Butcher's name at the top of some of them, and for others they put the title of the book, and they flipped where they were. But whatever. I mean, as long as the spines line up, I'm usually happy. Number 5, everyone and their mother loves a book you really don't like. Who do you bond with over shared feelings? And the answer is you guys. I enjoy making these videos and talking about those kind of issues, and I appreciate it when you leave comments down below and tell me that you understand my feelings and respect them, even when you disagree about the issues. Number 6, you're reading a book and you are about to start crying in public. How do you deal? You don't. You don't cry in public. That's how I was raised. You stop reading, you go home, you read it in private, and you cry all you want. We live in a very judgmental society. You're not supposed to show weakness in public. Number 7, a sequel of a book you love just came out, but you've forgotten a lot from the prior novel. Will you reread the book, skip the sequel, try to find a synopsis, or cry? For me, that one's easy. What I decided to do for some books is get the audiobook and just quickly listen to the audiobook again before reading the sequel. I think that works out really well. If I'm in a time crunch and I just gotta read the sequel without enough time to listen to the audiobook for the previous books, then I will go and read a summary. I've already read the first book. Summary's a good memory refresher. Number 8, you do not want anyone borrowing your books. Okay, well that's just not true. That is just a flawed premise. I let people borrow my books all the time, and I lose them, and it's okay. I've accepted that. It's like letting someone borrow money. If you're gonna let someone borrow money, you need to accept the fact you might never get that money back. Number 9, reading ADD. You've picked up and put down 5 books in the last month. How do you get over your reading slump? That's a good one, and again, my answer involves audiobooks. If I want to finish a book and I'm struggling to get through it, listening to the audiobook helps me to push on through, because I will put those headphones on, tell it to play, and force my brain to listen. Number 10, there are so many new books coming out that you're dying to read. How many do you actually buy? The answer is too many. I need to stop buying so many books. Number 11, after you've bought the new books you can't wait to get to, how long do they sit on your shelf? For this one, I'm going to plead the 5th. I have no comment. No answer. Sorry. I'm just being playful. Yeah, a lot of books sit on my shelf for too long. Alright, I've done 5 tags. I should just stop right there. But I can't. I can't help myself. It's time for tag number 6, and it's a short one. Your answer can't be books tag. This one's been all over BookTube lately. I was tagged by Joe and Mary, the Book Buds. For prompts 1 through 5, I know they don't want me to say books, but I feel like I could answer bookmarks. So, question 1. What is something that you own way too many of other than books? Bookmarks. What is something that you do for fun that's not reading a book? I like to make bookmarks. Number 3. What is something special or important on your nightstand that's not a book? Ha, joke's on you. My nightstand is a bookcase. It's got bookmarks in some of the books. Number 4, what's something that you buy at a bookstore other than books? This one's pretty easy. Bookmarks. Number 5, what's a fun gift that you've received that wasn't a book or a gift card for books? You guessed it. Bookmarks. Number 6, what's a YouTube channel that you watch that's not related to books? Oh, there's one I can't just say bookmarks. I actually love Lego, and there are some people who have YouTube channels where they show off their Lego cities, where they've collected all these buildings and cars, and they've made their own stuff and put it together. You can search on YouTube. It's neat to see. Adult fans of Lego, AFOL would be a good search term. AFOL, Lego cities or Lego towns. So many great ones out there. And the last one on this is to tag more people. You are all tagged. Open tag. Thank you so much for listening to my 6 tags in this video. It's a super spectacular tag Saturday. Or as I was trying to say at the beginning, a sanctuary Saturday. Every day is a good day for a tag video or a book talk. You guys are awesome. Peace.